Hello, and welcome to June 14th, 2012. Today I'm going to show you the interview that I did yesterday with John Bradley. John Bradley is one of my professors here at Monash University. He's a mentor and an inspiration to me because he has worked in Aboriginal communities for over 33 years as a non-Aboriginal. And that's incredible to me because I've worked in Aboriginal communities for the past 2 years. The first thing that I did was I asked him who he was and what his role was at the university.
My name's John Bradley. I'm the Deputy Director of the Monash Indigenous Centre and also the Director of the Monash Country Lines Archive, which is the animation program we have here.
I then asked him why he thought it was important that students take his class.
Well, you're Canadian, I'm Australian. We're both colonised countries. Colonisation for most Indigenous peoples in our countries has not been a pleasant experience. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but it's the truth. In Australia we talk about reconciliation, and that's all very well, but before we can really reconcile we've got to decolonise. One of the most important things that we do in our centre here is to make staff at the university and students aware of the processes of how we can decolonise ourselves so that we can actually understand the other issues that are embedded in this country.
I then asked him a bit about his history so that he could tell you guys.
I've worked now for over 30 years in Northern Australia on issues from land rights, land management, species management, language preservation, heritage work, and now animation, trying to get cross-generational transfer of knowledge between old people who still have language to young kids that don't have language but have a growing awareness that perhaps it's something important they should pick up on.
I was really curious to find out what motivated John to continue working in Aboriginal communities as a non-Aboriginal.
Because colonisation is still alive and well. It hasn't died with the Union Jack that was put up at Botany Bay, Sydney Cove 223 years ago. We're still a colonised country. And when you see the effects of colonisation on Indigenous peoples, even today, all people of goodwill should be actually working together to try and stop it.
We then talked about the reconciliation process and what has to happen before that.
I think before reconciliation we've got to have decolonisation, and both groups of people are colonised. We're colonised and Indigenous people are colonised. Until we actually decolonise ourselves, then we're not really going to understand what reconciliation is. We're not. It's a nice ideal, but decolonisation engages with dialogue and constant dialogue, and that for me is the critical point. Whereas too many people think that reconciliation has an end point. Oh, we've reconciled, that's nice. And it's not working like that. And I think we actually have to take a step back and look at what the underlying issues really are.
I then asked him why he does what he does.
I try to teach two things here. One is that there is the colonial experience, of which we're all a part, that by its very nature, Western philosophies and Indigenous philosophies at times may be incommensurable. And that goes without saying because two very different cultures, different languages, different ways of experiencing the world, an understanding of history, an understanding of being able to hold complexity without being terrified of it. And hopefully out of that comes a new way of thinking.
I really liked what John Bradley had to say about decolonization. I think that's a really interesting idea, and I think it's something that I'll try to look into in my daily life. I really liked speaking with him. He's so knowledgeable. He's been working in the Aboriginal community for 33 years. Thank you so much, John, for letting me do that interview. I really hope you guys all enjoyed that and learned a little something about it, and maybe thought about some new ideas that you hadn't thought of before. But that's it for today. Bye, Graham. Bye, crackers.